Hi, I am Merem Samuel.
You know what it is.
Yes, you know what it is.
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
It's the Black Yellow Voice Podcast.
Target locked.
There comes a time in a man's life when his eyes will be open to a looming danger, and then he starts making strides to avoid that danger, from coming his way. One good thing about plans and preparations is that they prepare a bed before you, and your plans and preparations would surely determine the kind of bed you will rest on. Now, while some plans prepare you to rest on soft foam, other plans can leave you for a plank. The future of Nigeria is here, and whatever outcome this future will be, good or bad, depends on our plans and our decisions as a country people. But as for the future, it's here, and I hope that we will make a good choice and unlock a better future for us all. Welcome, this is the Black Yellow Voice Podcast, a podcast on a good sport, and my name is M to the E to the REM, Merem Samuel, aka the eyes of the gods and the voice of the gods. It is election time. It is election season right here in Nigeria. The general election is fast approaching, and it's been a very interesting time so far. There have been plenty of interesting conversations, revelations, and speculations on the issue of who will become the next president. And right now in the Nigerian landscape, I don't think that there is any conversation bigger than the 2023 election. It has attracted lots of interest, and people have been talking about it. There are ongoing talks about registering for PVC collections, and recently I visited an INEC center in Lagos, and I felt the passion young Nigerians are exuding towards ensuring that they get the PVCs. And I'm happy that more and more people are becoming politically aware, and that in itself is a step leading in the right direction. But one thing is to register for PVC, another thing is to collect it, another thing is to come out and vote, and then another thing is to vote for the right candidate. I want to assume that the reason anyone will stand for hours under the sun to get a PVC is that he or she wants to vote. But the question is, who are you voting for, and what are your reasons for wanting to vote for that person? Remember that our choices can go on to affect who becomes the president, and if we end up with someone who is incompetent because we made a wrong choice, we will live off the consequences of our choices. This past 7 years have been hell for many Nigerians, and that's because of wrong choices that were made in those years. 2019 and 2015 were mistakes, huge mistakes, and I don't think we can afford to make the same mistake in 2023. We honestly can't. If we do, it then means that we'll be setting ourselves up for another 8 years of bad times. The number of Nigerians that have relocated to outside of the country from 2015 to now is alarming. People are running away for a chance at a better life, which Nigeria can't provide. People are escaping from the claws of Nigeria on a daily. We can sit and blame the leaders for the hardship that is causing this mass exodus. But one thing that we must not forget is that we elected these men, right? Now, our decisions put them there, and that include our decision to vote and not to vote. You get my point, right? Your decision to vote and your decision not to vote, sitting at home and not making your vote count, you just stay for house. That is the decision. And that decision puts the wrong people there. Because if you have come out to vote on both elections, probably your vote might have affected who will be the president. You get the point, right? So your decision to vote and not to vote put whoever that is in that position there. Now, the party primaries have come and gone, and we now know who the flag bearers and major contenders are. We have former Vice President Atiku Abubakar for the People's Democratic Party, former Lagos State Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the ruling All Progressive Congress, and finally, the name on the lips of many, Peter Obi of the Labour Party, who is a former governor of Anambra State. However, there are other candidates such as Omoyele Sowore of the AAC, Dumebi Kachiku of the ADC, Rabi Kwankwanso of the NNPP, and a host of many others. But from ongoing conversations, Atiku, Tinubu, and Obi are the major contenders. And personally, I have pitched my tent with one man who, not that I think, who is the best among all candidates. Now, come 2023, I will give my vote to Peter Obi. And I'm imploring you to vote for Peter Obi if truly, so far don't tire you. Now, this is a time to erase all religious and ethnic biases. I understand that Nigeria is high on religion and tribal sentiments, and a lot of people vote based on those lines. People vote on ethnic lines, religious lines, but I don't feel like give you using religion and ethnicity as the major yardstick to decide who to vote for is a very dangerous move at this point in time. It is very, very dangerous. Voting for someone simply because he or she practices the same faith as you, or he or she is from your local area, is dangerous. And that is because this ship called Nigeria is sinking, and the only person among the aspirants that is at a good chance to rescue Nigeria is Peter Obi. Now, I've heard Peter Obi speak. I've also heard other candidates speak. And it's not that I'm trying to demarcate anyone here, but other candidates seem very clueless whenever they are speaking. Like, you can see the cluelessness. You can see it very clearly. There is no clear-cut vision on how to move this country forward. It's just entitlement. Peter Obi is by far the best candidate, and that explains why a lot of people are rallying behind him. Look, we can't afford not to vote for Peter Obi. We can't afford not to have him as our president next year, 2023. We cannot. Because with the current crop of those aspiring to be president, Nigeria will suffer if any other person other than Peter Obi becomes the president next year, 2023. I know everybody wants Japa. I mean, Japa is on everyone's lips, but so is Sakpa. So what if in the next 10 years or even in your lifetime, you never jackpot out of the country, you don't have the opportunity to go out of the country? Does that mean that you live the rest of your life in Sakpa? Because facts, look, everybody in Nigeria can't just jackpot. Not everyone can afford to jackpot. There will always be people, a huge chunk of them in their millions, still in this country, whether you like it or not. And let's say even if you jackpot too, let's say even if you jackpot, what about your family? Do you have enough funds to take them along with you? I'm sure everyone, okay, let me not say that I'm sure, but let me say most people love their family members, and seeing them living in harsh conditions will leave a bitter taste in their mouth, right? Now, today's Nigeria is a typical example of living in a harsh condition, and it will get worse if we don't make the right decisions. So, if you are out there in Canada or in the UK or US, wherever you are, where things are assumed to be rosy and sweet, and then you look back to Nigeria to see the hard conditions your loved ones are compelled to live with, let's be honest, will you be happy? You will not be happy. Like, you won't be happy. Now, it is for that reason I'm saying this. Whether you want to jackpot or not, as long as we are still here, let's join hands and salvage the situation of this country. It shouldn't be after you must have jackpot out of the country when you're in Canada and in the diaspora, then you start forming activists, or you start forming advocates for good governance and start encouraging those back at home to do the right thing. While you were in Nigeria, what did you do? So now that we are here, we will say we did for this country right now. Let's join hands and salvage the situation of this country. Now, I want you to share this podcast with as many people as you can. Play it on speakers close to that your friend, that's your neighbor who is like, if Nigeria won't fall, make it fall. You know, consign me. Anybody will like make him win. Kilo comic pelu election. Or make ye basara election. People who will be like the election is none of their business. Share it with them. Try to convince them. One of the things that vex me is that some of the people making such statements, it's not as if things are soft for them. Some of them, they follow window, enter downfall. Some they chop once in a day. And that's once in a day, if it be gari without sugar. Some of them go school, come out, they no see job. Some they trek inside hot sun. What am I trying to say? It's not as if things are rosy for people making these kinds of ignorant statements. Things no gel for them. Me when they talk safe, me right here, things no gel for me. So why would I want to punish myself and punish other Nigerians with my vote by voting for incompetence and cluelessness? I think it's high time we started asking people what their votes mean to them. For me, I see my vote as redemption for myself and other Nigerians. And speaking of redemption, incompetence and cluelessness will never align with redemption. Although possible. Now, I'm rooting for Peter Obi does not mean that he's the Messiah. Peter Obi is not a Messiah. But Nigerians and Nigeria would have a better chance of experiencing good governance with him as president than other aspirants, and that is facts. This country called Nigeria is sinking, and it needs survival and redemption. And as long as you are not in the upper class, if Nigeria sinks, God forbid, those in the lower class will be the first set of casualties. You think because you can afford to buy data to do TikTok videos, flex once or twice in a week, that you are rich, and the problems of Nigeria cannot come to you, and not your problem, Abi? Do you know that if you bought a property for 120 million naira in 2012 and sold it for 240 million naira in 2022, you will be making a loss? Do you know? It sounds crazy, right? Because 240 for 120, that's like double the value of what you bought the property. But I'm telling you that you made the loss. And that's how bad the naira has a value. Then it keeps going down. It keeps going down. Now let me use a more practical and a day-to-day example to explain what I just said. The things that you can go to the market and buy with 5k in 2012 cannot be bought for 5k in 2022. And what happened? Why is it so? The economy is dwindling, and our leaders, those we call our leaders, are responsible for this. They are responsible for this. I see a better future with Peter Obi. The future of Nigeria has come, and it's in our hands to decide if the future will be bright or not. But as for the future has come. It has come. And I pray for a bright and brighter future. And please, for the sake of our future, let's come out and vote for Peter Obi for President of Nigeria. If you haven't collected your PVC, try and see that you collect it. It is very important. It is very important. I know that the processes can be very stressful and frustrating. I know this because I've experienced this, right? I've experienced it. But it is more profitable to wait for 6 hours, 7 hours to register or even collect the PVC itself than to face another 4 to 8 years of bad leadership. Remember, not making a choice is also a choice. So make a choice and make it right. Let's vote Peter Obi. Let's vote him. Let's vote for Peter Obi for better Nigeria. Now ourselves we do these things, so now for ourselves. We are not doing me any favor. Now ourselves we do these things for. And that's on fact. That's on fact. If I have said anything in this podcast that makes sense to you, please share the link to your friends and families. Spread the message across so they too can hear it. I beg. This fight for a better future. Now all of us will end involve. All of us end involve. Biko edako. Anama yonu. I beg. Let's do the right thing. All right. Thank you very much. I'm on social media, and you can find me on all social media platforms on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Yeah, these are the major ones, right, for me. You can find me right there at Merem Samuel. All right, and that's where I draw the curtain for this one. My name still remains the same, never changing, never aging. M to the E to the REM. Merem Samuel, aka the eyes of the gods, aka the voice of the gods. Be obedient, be positive, because a better future is possible. Arrive, Dechi.